Listen to three guys talk about four women walking into the area formerly known as Twitter. Welcome to Not Just Any Book Club. I'm Justin.
I'm Pierce. I didn't get that one, but that's okay.
I didn't get the joke either.
Area X. Okay.
Oh,
Not my
Area
best
X.
friend.
I
There
got
you
it.
go.
Okay. Yeah. And with us, we have Luke, as we do every once in a while.
He sometimes gets my jokes.
Rarely.
We've gone on a short hiatus. It seems to happen towards the end of the year, most years for whatever reason. But we're back. We read for January, although it's a little late, January, a book called Annihilation, book 1 in the Southern Reach series.
By Jeff Vandermeer.
We also were thinking about watching the movie to talk about the differences. We've seen it before. We're going to talk about broad strokes, but we won't get into too many specifics because we haven't seen it super recently. Let me jump in with a little bit of a summary, and then we can talk about specifics. I'm going to again kind of broad strokes it. Four women venture into a place called Area X. They are a biologist, an anthropologist, a surveyor, and a psychologist. Area X is a very pristine, very gorgeous piece of coastal wilderness that is also very wrong in some way. It's been sealed off by some kind of invisible border, and as far as the group knows, they are the 12th expedition sent to investigate the zone's mysteries. The rest of the expeditions thus far have disappeared, committed suicide, or come back and there's been something deeply, deeply wrong with them. They seem different in some way. The women, while they're there, find impossible structures. The largest one that they deal with is a series of caves or rooms that go down under the earth that our main character, the biologist, keeps calling a tower. As they push deeper into the tower and into the zone in general, they find that the psychologist has been hypnotizing them. Their memories are unreliable, and Area X seems to change everything inside of it at a cellular level. The biologist slowly uncovers the truth while transforming. The group turns on each other. And by the end, our main character is neither fully herself, and she decides to wander off into Area X. And I know I missed some specific details. Like I said, we'll talk about those. I think as we get into it. Yeah. So, just before we get into anything specific, what do you guys think of the book in general?
It was good. I liked it.
Wow. Okay.
I have my criticisms about the book, but overall, my experience was pretty positive. I don't regret reading it. Didn't blow me away as someone might have been, but it was good.
I really liked the book. I had a great time with it. I thought that in a little over 200-ish pages it was pretty captivating, man. I was really engaged with it. It kind of just hits the story tones that kind of get me going. An unreliable narrator that isn't like annoying to read through. A whole bunch of stuff that nobody really understands, that you kind of want to puzzle together, but can you really puzzle it together? Is it even possible to puzzle any of this pieces of the story together? I don't know. I really liked it.
I also really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say I was blown away either, Justin, but I if I had to guess, I liked it more than you. Just if we're operating on a scale. Yeah, I mean, I think it was good. I think it's especially good if you're looking for a specific kind of mood just kind of a spooky, kind of unexplainable, strange mood. I think it fills that really well. Specific plot details and what exactly is going on, I guess mileage may vary a little bit, but I think it's good.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of like a House of Leaves kind of thing. But I made fun of comparison. I liked it a little bit more than House of Leaves because at least there is an emotional core rather than entirely a mystery box sort of thing.
This guy hates experimentation. He hates it.
Yeah, so yeah.
I'll be honest, I agree with Justin on this one. I thought House of Leaves was pretty tedious to read through. After
Oh
the novelty
man.
Let's
wore off,
go.
about 150 pages in, I was like, you know what, the gimmick, because it feels like a gimmick less than something like really cool they did with the story. So
I
that's a
actually
slight
really liked reading from the perspective of someone who was sort of writing about a documentary or something, or however you want to describe
Yeah,
how the
secondhand
writing
account.
was done. Yeah, this like, well, yeah, this almost like a third hand account, right? Because there's a documentarian and then
Yeah.
there's the person writing about the documentary. Um, now the other guy who was writing in the book was really annoying, and I hated reading his sections. Not to get completely off track, but like I think I'm on board with you guys for that other guy. But the actual like stuff about the house and the family, I really enjoyed in that book.
That's true. Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyways, Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer.
yeah. All right. Well, so I think one thing that's interesting about this is that we don't really get to know our characters too much.
We don't know not even their names.
We don't know their names at all. In fact, the three people who are not the narrator, like the only reason I feel like we get to know the not the psychologist, the biologist at all is because we're literally inside of her writing or her head.
Mhm.
But with the rest of them, I don't know these people at all. The the surveyor seems to be kind of unstable, and the psychologist, I have no idea what's going on with her. But yeah,
And you
the
get so little time
biologist
with the anthropologist that there's nothing there with the anthropologist.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Not even a conversation. Um, and so I don't think that there's really a strong emotional core here. There's a little bit of one with the biologist's husband, but we don't really
Mhm.
know any of these characters. And even the biologist, like Luke said, she's unreliable, so I don't feel like we know her that well.
Hmm. Well, I think giving the benefit of the doubt to the husband character, I think that's what kind of motivates her. I think that is more of the reason why she's there, because without her love, and seeing him like slowly decay, to not use a great word there, I guess, but as he comes back with brain cancer and he doesn't act like himself, their marriage starts to really crumble. And she decides that this is going to be a last resort, and she's there. And I always found those flashbacks kind of engaging, and almost in a tragic way, as you kind of get to piece together as to why she would resort to essentially the suicide mission, and why she's so reserved and would find this appealing, where she doesn't get even attempt to know her comrades on this expedition. So that's my take on that with the emotional core. I'll defend the book there. Any other takers?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong here, right? But also
Mm-hmm.
in terms of, you know, the characters not getting to know each other, not becoming like a band of friends, the general
Yep.
point, right? The 12th
Yeah,
expedition,
enforced it too.
yeah, was like not supposed and it wasn't even supposed to be like a super long mission, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Originally they said that there was some issues with some of them, but you know, because the biologist's husband was in the previous expedition, she knew a little bit more about it. But for the other ones, you know, they didn't realize that all of these issues happened to the previous expeditions entirely. You know, there might have been some issues
Hmm.
with one or the two of the expeditions, and then there was all sorts of like training, like psychological secret black, site government training before going into any of
Okay.
this for what was originally supposed to be a rather simple survey mission, walk around, explore some stuff, get out. Clearly that didn't happen, and as they find out throughout the story, that didn't really happen with any of the previous expeditions
Yeah.
as well. But maybe that's probably a reason why they didn't become good buddies. It was supposed to be a fairly routine, quickish excursion, like go there, do their shit, come back, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that's always the promise they have. And I
Hmm.
think they kind of knew about it beforehand that they don't come back the right way or how they were before. There's always
Yeah.
some
Well, the
kind of
biologist certainly didn't. I'm not sure
yeah.
about the rest of them. The psychologist is, assumed to have more knowledge than the other three about what's
Mm,
actually going on, even if she doesn't reveal a ton of it throughout the story. But in terms of the surveyor and the anthropologist, there's no I don't think there's any inclination whatsoever that they have any real idea on what the scope that they got into is.
Right. They're just kind of
mm,
along for the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the psychologist also, I think, probably doesn't really know the full scope.
Uh,
Like the only reason, the only reason the biologist knows about what happens to people when they come back is because it happened to her husband, um, or the full scope at least of how people are affected by this place. Um, and then she learns even more about it when she actually gets to the lighthouse, which is less, I guess I'll just mention this. It's less important in the book than in the movie. I feel the movie,
mhm.
it's like the final destination, and in the book it's just kind of like, I mean, it's important still. Don't get me wrong. This is where we really find out the bulk of kind of what the previous expeditions were doing, and we also find out that there's been more than 12. Um, but it's not like this final place to go to. It's just kind of a stop along the way where we find out more information. Um, anyhow, yeah. I do wonder if that the mission at the beginning, where the psychologist hypnotizes, and we can get into hypnosis in a second.
Okay, of
The
course. Of course.
anthropologist hypnotizes the anthropologist to get that the
Simple.
the
What's that?
sample, yes, of the creature that's down in the tower, the caves. Would that have been it? Right? Would they have been able, would they have turned around and gone back? Was that what they were actually looking for? Even the mission that they're on, it seems pretty unclear. Um, what they're actually doing, either in the beginning or when we find out more from the psychologist or psychiatrist.
Hmm, that is true.
You want to segue into the hypnotism bit after that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder why you
because
mentioned that.
yeah, Justin, what do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah. So it sounded like a nitpick, but then it did kind of bother me how it did. So hypnotism is, I know it's fiction, obviously, but this kind of seemed like an anime style superpower that the psychologist had with hypnotizing people to make sure that they're more compliant. And I don't know that I don't think that's how hypnotism really works. I know that's how it's portrayed in fiction, but it just seemed a little bit of a stretch for me to really get behind it. I mean, it's one of those wrinkles in the story that don't. It isn't entirely why I'm not so on board with the book. It's just that one aspect and how she essentially is just this mastermind behind getting everybody to be more compliant with everything. It did push my suspension of disbelief. I I know that Pierce kind of was like, "This is Lovecraftian horror. They're
Yeah.
literally going to an area called Area X. What? This is breaking your suspension of disbelief, but internal consistency. I
Well, one thing I will say in your favor is that Annihilation portrays itself as a very like high science piece of fiction,
mhm.
and some people do believe in hypnosis of this type, but it's not really backed scientifically. But then I would argue that lots of the stuff that happens in the book is not backed scientifically, right? It's not supposed to be treated, even though it's high science. It's not supposed to be treated as like gospel. But I also think that's kind of part of the point. Science seems to sort of break down in Area X in this book in general. The barriers around it, what we can actually understand.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I don't know. Just wasn't a fan of that aspect. I can kind of look over it if the rest of the book was so engaging that I'm like, all right, I can vibe with it. But the psychologist being the Pied Piper, essentially walking everybody into Area X through hypnosis. I don't know about that. Tugging at my shirt
Wait,
right
hold
now.
on. Wait, hold on. I think that is actually more believable than the like, I'm gonna hypnotize you. Go get a sample from this giant monster. I thought that's where your problem was, not the like, I'm gonna make you black out while we go through this area. To
Oh,
me, I feel like
well, that too.
I feel like the first one is more believable than the second one. Personally,
Okay, yeah, that too. I completely forgot about that one as well, where they it was essentially a memory wipe. So,
yeah.
huh. Now I don't know. I mean, I think it's a big aspect for my personal enjoyment. I'm sure that somewhere that there's dozens of us that feel the same way, that this aspect of the book just didn't vibe with you, but I don't know.
I
At the
think
end of the
cosmic
day,
horror.
you go,
Go
Pierce.
ahead. Okay. I think cosmic horror in general can be hit or miss with people, and that's okay. Because you kind of have to connect with it. It has to be it has to go off. A lot of cosmic horror focuses on a specific kind of knowledge, and it sort of has to go off in a direction that there's some lack of understanding there for you. And I think um, you have a degree in psychology, so maybe this is.
Yeah.
I get it, is what I'm saying. Where this comes from, I just disagree that it should be the breaking point.
Yeah. Eventually, Luke here is going to be looking at every single medical drama and be like, they don't do that. Actually, no, you're wrong. Toxic.
It still gives me break joy to watch medical dramas.
Yeah.
What were we gonna say, Luke, before?
I was just gonna say, when it comes to books, basically, it's a shorter version of what Pierce said, less eloquently, is if you don't like a bit, you don't like a bit. If something's
Yeah.
off, something's off. What you gonna do?
Yeah.
It's not just because a book is good or it has a bunch of outstanding qualities doesn't mean that you are forced to enjoy it through something, personal preference that you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except you are forced to enjoy it. You
Yeah,
have to enjoy it.
mandatory.
Yeah.
This book won the Nebula.
Unless it's something I like, okay, and then you have to like it with me.
Yeah.
All right.
We could talk about the background of the book, the publication. Did you guys know about the why this book was made? Well, Jeff Vandermeer, he talked about this bit in the New Yorker or this Atlantic article. Shout out to them because I'm the only one with access to this magazine. Humble brag. So he was talking about.
Wait, humble brag. I'm the only one who pays for a magazine.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go
Go
on,
on. What did
Justin.
Jeff Vandermeer say?
So he apparently was getting dental surgery, and this was around the time that BP oil spill happened, and his entire family was involved with the environment in some capacity. His parents were in the Peace Corps. They spent some time in Fiji, and they were also in North Florida, so he saw this on TV, and it's around the area that he lived. And I think he was describing in this interview where he saw some animals covered in oil, and that caused him some grief, along with the fact that he was having surgery and the after effects of that happening. These ideas kind of came together, and it spawned this. And the most interesting thing about this book was that he was very ride or die on the fact that this book would be a trilogy, and it was published in 2014, I believe. And within an 8-month span, he made sure that the publisher, I think Farrar, would make sure that they would follow the specific publication order within the year. And I think it may have been one of the first books to have done that, or first books in a while to have done that format. So will we be checking out the rest of the trilogy? I don't know. If
They're
it comes
very
up,
different, so you might enjoy them more. So
I don't know. They're very different.
they're very different, apparently. The next one is more of like a government or spy thriller.
Oh, it's one of the last one, a rom com.
I don't know. I saw the next one. It's about somebody who works at the Southern Reach, the government agency.
Huh. I mean, hey, these books are short enough that there's a non-zero chance I would like to take these on like a plane trip or something and just like finish the trilogy there.
Yeah, they're pretty quick. I definitely feel like even if you didn't end up enjoying them, they wouldn't be a waste of your time.
Yeah,
Says the guy who hasn't read the other two, but they're not much longer than this. So
they gave the vibes of they will be good. And hey, if they were written all at the same time, almost, and I'm like, why not? I know the first part of the third of the story, so may as well try out the rest. Even though I'm not going to be the most enthusiastic one to be reading the rest of the trilogy.
I think I'm I'm just gonna also skate over some of the differences with the movie. The movie is very different. You can talk about it a little bit if you remember, but it's for instance, her husband in the biologist husband in the book is dead already, supposedly at the start of the book, and in the movie, he makes it back home and he lives throughout the end in quarantine. He's actually in the end of the movie. The mutated bear, one of the most memorable things in the movie, not in the book at all.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
And it works the other way too. Probably the most important part of the book, the tower, the sort of cavernous underground thing,
with the English
not in the
words
movie,
showing up.
not in the movie at all, or the creature in the tower. Nothing, completely cut, not in it. Does it hit some of the same ideas philosophically? Some of the same, but I would also say even the themes sort of venture off away from each other in parts. It's interesting. It's still like kind of the same concept of these four women venturing into Area X, and I would say Area X is pretty similar. But as I said to you guys before we started recording, I think in the book it's Area X feels a little bit more alive, it has a, like, it's all connected or kind of has a mind of its own or something. There's something going on kind of under the surface that makes things feel a little bit more connected and cohesive in Area X versus in the movie. I feel like it's all just a bunch of different creatures who have been transformed, all the plants and whatever. Just something is affecting everybody here more than the actual area itself being connected in some way or alive in some way. But yeah, it definitely interesting how different it is. I totally recommend. I mean, we'll get to recommending the book at the end, but I recommend the movie. I think it's one of our better examples of Lovecraftian or cosmic horror in film. Without without mentioning the thing. We'll pretend the thing doesn't exist, and then it can be the best, maybe.
Oh
Probably
yeah.
not.
Oh,
But
yeah. Okay.
uh but yeah, anyways, I just wanted to go over some of the differences just because it's so different. If you've seen the movie before, anyone out there, if you've seen the movie before, the book is very, very different. It's not, you're not going to be retreading the same ground if you decide to give this series a chance after liking the movie.
Yeah. Being yeah. The book's short enough that may as well give it a try. If you like the
Yeah.
movie so much. All right.
Do you guys have a take about what it's all about? Because I have one.
Yeah. So I'm torn between two.
Uh-huh.
I'm torn between two. I was reading it. I'm torn between, is this like for context, I didn't look into what started the book, so the BP oil
As
spill information was new to me until today.
Luke
But
original thought.
yeah, I was torn between, is this an environmental book? Is this a book about, environment reclaiming stuff? Because the Area X, the big problem apparently with Area X is that it's growing steadily over time, right? Is kind of like the initial issue that the government's trying to deal with. They don't know how to stop it from slowly expanding. And then as the book comes in, the secondary concern is, if there is a way actually for the people to come and leave Area X, even though they're permanently changed, is there a way for Area X to spread the influence of whatever's going on inside of it, outside of it? And there's that whole concern. There's the subplot of, maybe she saw something influenced by Area, maybe the biologist saw something influenced by Area X well before she knew Area X even existed, with the big weird starfish flashback scene. So that was one bit of it I was like tossing and turning about. And then the other bit that I'm torn between, or is this like a foreign influence changing the status quo kind of novel? Is this Area X not like a return to nature? Is this something new coming in and changing what's already there? Because there was some sort of civilization within Area X beforehand. Like the lighthouse was populated by somebody. There was a town or a little village or some shit in there. Is this a book about a foreign influence coming in and changing stuff that's already present for better or for worse? I think some people will tell you it's for worse. Probably the people that died or turned into weird plant things.
Yeah.
I, I think another thing would be like just changing in a way that maybe isn't for better or for worse, just the fact that it's different. So that's like kind of the two things I was torn between, and I couldn't quite figure out on what this book, is actually trying to say. That was my take on the book.
That's interesting because that's not really, I wasn't, I mean, I had some thoughts about what Area X is like in universe, but I didn't think about what Area X meant, symbolically outside of the book. Justin, did you have anything before I
Nothing
give what I
too
was thinking?
interesting. Yeah, I just thought it was
Okay.
just supposed to be a contrast to her grief because she's trying to adapt to a world, and she is basically in a very difficult situation, being forced to venture out into this unknown world with people that continue to really bother her. And she's obviously the most reserved out of all of them. Maybe the anthropologist, who didn't get a single line of dialogue, aside from her. But again, the husband's influence is very present in the novel, even though he's not physically present. The memory of him haunts her. So, in a way, this is like a suicide mission for her, or in a way to kind of make peace with the fact that her husband is gone. So follows in her footsteps.
Um, my thought when I was thinking about what the book was about was more about the people and what it sort of means for them to be exploring Area X. And so my thought is it's kind of about cosmic horror is in general kind of about how there's sort of a limit to our understanding. There's something that we there's a barrier somewhere that either we found or haven't quite found yet, to the things that we can actually fully understand and fully comprehend. And I think that that's kind of what this book is about. There is, these four scientists, and all of their methods sort of break down their methods of understanding. She looks at the cellular structure of these things, of I think she takes some samples from something, and she, the thing that's mysterious about it is that they're mixed up, but she can't really figure out what's actually going on. And then I also think it's about kind of the limit of our understanding with language, right? There's so much focus put on the words that this creature is writing on each floor in the tower, and what they mean, and we never really get quite an understanding. We get a translation of part of it, but she never really comes to a full understanding of what is actually meant here. And I don't think we do either. I couldn't figure it out. And then also, she thinks back on her life, and people's sort of inability to understand her, um, and how she understands the world through kind of observation and a little, maybe scientific method, science, biology, right? Um, and I think that that is important in comparison to her husband, which, if I'm remembering correctly, um, her husband and her are very different people, but there's
Yes.
sort of an understanding that passes between them that goes beyond language. They just sort of get each other. And so I think really what the focus is on about the limit of our understanding in this book is language. It's, you know, you can't really put into words how to understand another person. You won't know another person fully, um, unless you just connect like that. There's something deeper that language can't, a gap that language can't fill. And I think that's true, in the language of science. There's a gap here with Area X that it can't fill with the language that's written on the walls in the tower. We can't fill that gap and get to a full understanding. That is what I thought, was thinking about while I was reading, um, this inability to understand with our current methods of explaining things or describing things.
You, the person that really likes studying languages, would really find that perspective appealing, and I like that you brought that perspective here.
Yeah, I never
Wow.
even really thought about it too much.
Yeah, that is just. I've also been thinking a lot recently about, in the last few months, about kind of our inability to understand one another. Like, you can get to a certain level with someone, but you don't truly know them in a way. And so I think that might have colored my interpretation a little bit, but that's, I don't know. That's what art's all about. So.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts? Any closing thoughts?
Aside from me just saying it's good, there's probably a lot more to it than that Pierce has illuminated, that Luke has illuminated, than I initially got out of it. That's okay. I still enjoyed it. Not among my favorites, but hey, I'll check out the sequels or the subsequent books in this trilogy. So it's good.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it to anyone out there. Just, it's, like I said, I'm not blown away either, but I really do enjoy it. So if you're in for like kind of a horror mood, where things are a little all over the place, little confusing, you're not going to quite get a full understanding of what's going on, and it's maybe creepy because of that. I think that is this is the book for you. It's pretty quick.
Luke, anything?
No, you guys summed it up, man. I thought it was a great book. I think if you haven't day or two, or maybe about a week if you're a slow reader. Definitely worth checking out.
Okay. All right. So now we are going to introduce a new segment. So we end off a little bit on more of a bang. I call it "What's the best thing we did this month?" because this is a monthly podcast. Um, so basically,
Ignore the
the
fact
segment
that it's
is
February.
yeah, just ignore it. Ignore that.
You did
um,
in January. In January.
January, yeah, it's the first month of the year, and I decided to introduce the segment. So everybody, tell me what is the best thing that you did this year. It could be a movie, it could be an experience that happened, or a book, or anything. I'll if you want me to start, I can start. The best thing that happened to me is me getting a new job relocation, so I don't have to drive 40 minutes away. Because guys, if you think that you can survive a 40-minute commute to and fro, and sometimes that drive back home being 90 minutes long because of traffic, think again, because that sucked. And being able to actually wake up in the morning, maybe read a little bit of my book, rather than forcing myself to wake up early, listen to an audiobook as I'm really tired. Yeah, no. So it's been a great change in my life.
I've definitely heard of people doing it, but I have no interest in a super long commute every day. That sounds awful.
Especially with the gas prices.
Yeah.
Pierce.
Okay, I'll go. I don't know. I'm a teacher. Like January is kind of a whatever month. So, I'll just say I finally got around to playing Expedition 33. So, that's good. Um,
Wonder why he sounds a
yeah.
bit more French today.
January is literally just for teaching. It's just I'm getting back into the swing of things pretty much. So I didn't do as much of my hobbies and as much of the stuff that I like to do as I wouldn't in most other months. But Expedition 33, worth the hype. Worth the hype. It was pretty good.
It was, especially the story behind it, like the meta narrative between how it
Yeah.
was made.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep.
And me pointing towards the finger towards Luke. What's the best thing that you did in January?
I went on a 2-week vacation to Japan that I've been
Wow.
thinking about for going on 8 years now.
Oh,
Me and my
how
wife
are the
went and did it.
how are the deer? I forgot to ask you. How are the deer?
The deer were pushy, bro. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
A little, if you don't know, they got this deer in this park called Nara Park. They got these deer, and you can go and they bow to you if you you're in a request for food, and so you can
Yeah.
go buy these little rice crackers that they sell at the park, and they're fucking pushy, bro. They bow to you, and if you don't give them a cracker, they headbutt you, and they start chewing your pockets and stuff. It's
They get
not
mad.
very fucking
Wow.
polite, man.
They're polite
But,
as long as you give them the cracker immediately. But
exactly,
if not, then they get mad.
You're on their timetable, not the other way around.
Okay. Wow.
Hmm.
That does
And
sound
then
pretty cool.
just to end it quick, the weirdest thing that I ate in Japan was I ate cod milk, which is the sperm sac of a male codfish.
Oh, okay.
I wonder
That
how
does
they
sound
found that
like a
out.
weird thing. Yeah.
That was a
How
weird thing.
how was it? How was it?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. It was a little bit like a fruit gusher. You take a
Okay.
bite and then it bursts into your mouth, which I can only assume is the sperm. And so that all the sperm goes into your mouth. And it really didn't taste like a whole lot. But just the fact that I knew what it was as I was eating it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
Okay. Caught in 4K right here.
Um
4K audio, I guess.
Yeah.
4K. Man, yeah, I can't say that I'm gonna try that when I go to Japan, but
He gave you a
Apparently it's
warning.
a winter delicacy, bro.
really,
Oh.
okay.
Yeah, it's a seasonal staple.
Well, I yeah, Japan is also I'm not even big into a lot of the like Japanese pop culture, and Japan is also
Not a weeaboo.
kind of a dream trip for me because it just seems like a really nice place to be a tourist. There's just so much cool
is.
stuff everywhere.
And a lot of stuff's in English. And you really don't need to know a lot of Japanese to get around, even
Oh,
like outside of big cities.
okay. Is it like a lingua franca, the English language
I,
there?
I heard
No.
that a lot of the natives don't know it. There's just stuff written in English
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
touristy
Not very
areas.
few people know English. Just a lot of stuff's in English, and you can get by
Yeah.
with like, 3 or 4 Japanese phrases and like pointing at the menu in English.
That is neat.
All right. Well, this was definitely an episode to kind of get us back in the swing of things. But now we're back. We're back. And I hope you all enjoyed. If you enjoyed, please give us a like, a rating, subscribe, whatever it is. We truly do appreciate it. You can probably not find us on Twitter or TikTok at Not Just Any Pod because we
Yeah.
don't post very much over there.
No,
But
no.
if you want to go check out all of our old posts, they're on those websites.
Yeah. Or share this video with your friends. This is like an underground thing. You're in the cool club.
Get in. Yeah, get in. Buy low. Get in now. Because oh man, when when it goes up,
Yeah.
it's gonna
When we get big,
skyrocket.
you'll be sorry.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. I
Yeah.
hope you all enjoyed.
Yeah. And this month or next month's book will be The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin.
For sure.
Yeah. And goodbye, Prometheus.